Ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate you on finding this video because in this video I want to discuss some of the major principles necessary for being able to succeed when it comes to investing. Not just succeed, but become potentially wildly wealthy through investing in cryptocurrency. This is a part 4 of an ongoing series called The Most Important Thing, where I discuss some of the most important things I've learned from studying cryptocurrency in order to become financially free. Because folks, in this space, there is the potential to find financial freedom. There is the potential for the normal person to go from being middle class, working class, to being financially free the rest of their lives. But there's also the potential to lose absolutely everything. And so one of the principles in which I would like to expound in this video is the importance of really understanding the fact that everyone is stupid and nobody knows what they're talking about, and the importance of being contrarian in this crypto space. Folks, in well over 2 years of following these crypto markets extremely closely, I've noticed one glaring thing, which is, number one, pretty much all the major influencers don't know what they're talking about. They're oftentimes very wrong, and they don't have your best interest at heart. It's also extremely important, likewise, to pair that understanding with the importance of acting in a contrarian manner to which the greater market is behaving. Now, let me explain what I mean. Now, I'm not saying that the large cryptocurrency YouTubers aren't knowledgeable. They are extremely knowledgeable, but they're human just like everyone else, and they fall into the same trap in which many people fall into, which is why I'm making this series. Because folks, look, it's one thing to kind of understand, oh, sure, it's important to be contrarian. It's important to not do what most people are doing, because if you do what most people are doing, you're just going to get average market returns, and in average market returns isn't really going to get you financially free anytime soon. But it's one thing to kind of know that, and it's another thing to truly understand that and implement that into one's own behaviors. And that distinction is what separates the winners and the losers. Sure, people can hear buy low, sell high, but do they really do that? No. They FOMO in. What does the vast majority of retail do? They FOMO into Dogecoin when Elon Musk is on SNL talking about it, and that turns out to be the top. The time to FOMO into Dogecoin, folks, is not when your uncle and your barber are telling you about it. It's when absolutely nobody has heard about it, and it's crashed and burns in its all-time lows. Not to suggest that I like Dogecoin. In fact, for our regular viewers on the channel, you're well aware that I think PulseX, and Hex are my favorite investment vehicle in this market, because, to summarize it quickly, as the combination of both high ROI plus longevity, to find that combination is so goddamn rare. Because folks, look, in crypto, to find something safe, you got to go to Bitcoin or Ethereum. But what's the problem with Bitcoin or Ethereum? They don't move that much. I mean, they do well compared to the S&P, but a 10, 20, 30x over time, over a couple of years, while that may be great, it's 10, 20, 30x not going to dramatically change the lives of working middle class people. You kind of need 100x and above to really start dramatically changing your life if you only have a couple $1,000s to start off with. So if you don't want those low gains, you often have to try and find something wildly speculative, wildly new, wildly unproven to try and chase those 100x gains. But oftentimes in doing so, you incur a great deal of risk with an unproven concept, unproven team. And so in chasing that 100x, you oftentimes you oftentimes incur a great deal of risk, and risk manifests itself, folks. This ain't just some theoretical bullshit. Things pump, they dump, they never come back. Things rug pull. Price performance doesn't go as anticipated. Risk is a very real thing. And so what I'm trying to get at, folks, is, look, risk is so real that what we've seen in the last couple of years is many influencers, large influencers that will go unnamed, speaking about cryptocurrencies like Terra Luna, Celsius, Solana, Harmony One, cryptocurrencies that have been hacked, that are down all the time, that literally went bankrupt, that went to zero, that pretty much rug pulled. And they do this while ignoring other cryptocurrencies such as Hex, where if you follow the way Nomics breaks things down, is 18 in terms of market cap here. And folks, this speaks to why it's so important to have a contrarian attitude when it comes to investing. Because while the rest of the market is looking at these top 5 cryptocurrencies, basically what BitBoy Crypto is investing in. I mean, folks, I like to use BitBoy Crypto as an example of what average market returns are, and as an example of what not to invest in if you want to outperform the market. Because in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with Ethereum. I think Cardano's interesting. I like Polygon quite a lot. I think XRP is an interesting technology. While I have many interesting things to say about these different cryptocurrency technologies, the very fact that BitBoy Crypto, the largest YouTube channel in the world, which has the most amount of retail viewers following and watching this channel, almost by definition, whatever he talks about often, and whatever he most often talks about, is going to reap him and his audience average market returns. And I'm not interested in average market returns. I'm interested in outperforming the market, financial freedom, getting it big. I'm interested in the next, not even the next 100x. I'm interested in the next 1000x. And these things ain't going to get you it within the decade. At least, maybe a couple, maybe Polygon might, but given enough time. But anyways, my point is, folks, it's extremely important to be contrarian. And while we see, large cryptocurrency influencers show things like Solana that are down all the time, Terra Luna that literally went to zero, Harmony One that had a massive bridge hack, Celsius that went completely bankrupt, and while at the same time these major influencers, wrongly in my opinion, have dismissed Hex, a cryptocurrency who's had nothing but 100% uptime and had over 10,000 X gains. It speaks to the fact, folks, that really, while large cryptocurrency influencers are knowledgeable, I'm not saying that they don't have no knowledge, they're oftentimes extremely wrong and they don't speak in your best interest. Even for me, folks, like I get stuff wrong too. And so one of the solutions for that is to act in a contrarian manner. One of the reasons why I like Hex so much and why I made a big shift myself personally, almost exclusively talking about Hex. I will gladly talk about other cryptocurrencies, but the reason why I prefer talking about Hex is because Hex most perfectly embodies the principle of the importance of being contrarian, because I have actually done the research and looked into Hex. I have read the layman's smart contract. I have looked and studied the tokenomics, the fundamentals, the smart contract of what Hex is, and I realized that not only is Hex extremely sound, immutable, but has the most interesting bullish tokenomics of any DeFi product out there. And in fact, with things like Hadron, Icosa, and the Maximus staking pools, has the most in-depth, built-out DeFi ecosystem of any other cryptocurrency out there. And it's just this massive, massive gem, a shining city on a hill, and everyone is ignoring it. Why? Well, for several reasons. Some of the baggage of Richard Hart and how it was marketed initially gave some people the impression it was kind of marketed in scammy fashion, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. That's originally how it was marketed, and because of that baggage, people have dismissed it. But if you study not just the surface level, and if you can get past what the founder Richard Hart wears, and if you study the actual tokenomics of the smart contract, you realize, oh shit, this thing's actually extremely sound, has longevity, and therefore it's just a matter of time before the gatekeeping ends. We see sites like CoinGecko gatekeeping Hex. We see large crypto influencers not talk about Hex because some of the baggage involved. But in my opinion, folks, that is all just a matter of time before that ends. Not to mention that we not quickly, but we will have the launch of Pulse Chain at some point in the near future, which is an Ethereum competitor. It's meant to be a faster, cheaper version of Ethereum. And I know for a fact that large cryptocurrency influencers such as BitBoy Crypto sacrificed for Pulse Chain. And I think they're going to be much more open-minded towards discussing Pulse Chain because they own bags of Pulse Chain. They also saw how well Hex did in the past, seeing 10,000x growth, and I think they're a little embarrassed about getting it wrong. And so they missed the boat on Hex. I don't think they're going to miss the boat on Pulse Chain. And so as Pulse Chain kind of is more easily understood, more easily adopted, Hex is going to be brought in as kind of a Trojan horse, where as Pulse Chain gains notoriety, so will Hex. And so, guys, for countless reasons, Hex is the cryptocurrency which has the most bullish tokenomics I've ever seen, where it essentially constantly incentivizes locking up as much Hex as possible for as long as possible. Because the way you get paid interest in Hex is through locking up your Hex, either for 1 day or 5,555 days. And the way you get paid interest is through a share system. But the shares always get scarcer and scarcer and more expensive. Therefore, everyone is constantly incentivized to stake for as long as they can, as early as they can, as big as they can. So, folks, in a bull market where new participants are entering the market, retail has a risk-on approach. Plus, you have this inbuilt tokenomic feature incentivizing extreme scarcity. Folks, there's a reason why this thing did a 10,000x, and why I think Hex has a solid chance of being in the tens of dollars by the next bull market. So to summarize here, folks, Hex has the most solid bullish tokenomics of any DeFi product I've ever seen out there. The most in-depth, well-built-out DeFi ecosystem I've ever seen out there of any DeFi product, between Hadron, Icosa, and the Maximus DAO staking pools. It's been completely and utterly wrongly dismissed, in my opinion. And folks, it's just a matter of time before that changes. And with the launch of Pulse Chain, I think that's kind of the Trojan horse that will bring Hex to the masses. And so there is no other massive player that's addressing a large total addressable market with the ability to pull it off that has been as wrongly dismissed as Hex. And so that's why I think Hex is the best contrarian play there is out there. But folks, look, this is but one way of kind of understanding how to be contrarian. One other way you can understand how to be contrarian is by following the technicals, following the chart. Like, for example, this is the relative strength index, all right? This is just a momentum indicator. And folks, look, if you kind of zoom out on a long time frame, a daily, a 3-day here, you can see that, folks, look, you want to buy when others aren't buying. And one very easy way of doing that is just simply busting out the RSI and seeing when something is overbought or oversold on a long enough time frame. And if you choose kind of a macro time frame, you can see that usually, folks, buying oversold and then selling overbought is consistently a profitable strategy when it comes to investing. So folks, let's say there's a cryptocurrency you like, such as Hex, and it enters the oversold territory. Well, it is just a matter of time, in my opinion, where buying oversold ends up being profitable to sell in the overbought territory. And folks, again, this is just an example of how, even in the short term, it is profitable to be contrarian. When things are oversold and things are crashing and burning and nobody wants to buy, that's the perfect time to be buying. When things are pumping and everyone's optimistic and we're going to the moon, we're breaking out bullishly, but we're overbought, that's the time to be selling, not financial advice. But this just goes to show you, folks, the importance of being contrarian and understanding that the reality is there's a lot of people out there in this space that get things wrong very consistently, and the worst part is that they don't reflect on those wrongdoings. I mean, folks, look, for me, guys, this whole crypto thing, it's not an ego thing. Allowing your ego to drive your investment thesis and your actions will lead to failure. I am more than happy to learn from my mistakes. In fact, it is a requirement for success to learn from mistakes. And so that's what I constantly try and do. And I unfortunately don't see that in many of large cryptocurrency influencer space. So that's why I make this video, to kind of warn you guys that be careful. These guys get things wrong. They're not necessarily always looking out for your own best interest. And it's important to pair that understanding with behaving in a contrarian manner. In my opinion, it makes quite sound investment advice to invest in things that are of sound quality that have been neglected wrongfully, such as Hex. Hex is the biggest example of a contrarian play when it comes to investing in this space, because it's the biggest wrongly dismissed cryptocurrency that I am aware of. Also, when it comes to the chart, folks, another simple example of understanding how to invest in a contrarian fashion: simply bust out an indicator that shows some way of understanding an overbought region and an oversold region. The more macro you are, and the more oversold you are, and if you're investing in something with longevity, well, it's just a matter of time before buying into an oversold region becomes profitable when sentiment inevitably changes and we become overbought and you take profits then. So folks, just to summarize here, the most important thing when it comes to investing is understanding that frankly, many people in this market are stupid. They get things wrong very often. They don't reflect and they don't correct their past mistakes. And oftentimes, large influencers in the space are not looking out for you. And it's important to pair that understanding with behaving in a contrarian manner. Because if you do what most people do, you're going to get what most people get. And what most people get is average market returns. And if you're just looking to maintain your wealth, average market returns are okay. If you're a massive cryptocurrency YouTuber with millions of dollars in crypto and you get average market returns, that's okay. You're doing fine. But if you're a working class, middle class person still trying to make it, still trying to find financial freedom, average market returns ain't really going to get you there. You need to outperform the market. And the way you outperform the market is by understanding some of the many downfalls and pitfalls of being an investor and the importance of acting and behaving in a contrarian fashion. Because of the importance of acting in a contrarian way, giving you the capability to outperform the market by finding something early before other people figure it out. That gets you in at a better valuation than investing in something that everyone and their mother have already heard about. You know, when every single channel is talking about XRP, Cardano, and we've already pumped hundreds of X. That's not the time to be buying, folks. The time to be buying Cardano, the time to be buying XRP, the time to be buying Hex is when they're down massively if you believe they have longevity, when people aren't focusing on them, and when you are able to be the contrarian player in the market. Folks, if you like this video, let me know down in the comments below. Everyone like and subscribe. Join our VIP Discord group if you want access to what I'm up to behind the scenes as well. If you like the channel and you want to support us, there is a Ethereum donation address down below. Believe me, that will all go towards the Richer Art ecosystem. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. There will be more of these videos. Everyone, like and subscribe. Click buttons. YouTube likes it when you click buttons. And until next time, take care, folks.